Hey, what's up everybody? Today I got a strafing tutorial to show you guys. For all those people who have problem doing strafe jumps in Call of Duty games, this video should help you. Because we've always got positive feedback from everyone always saying our tutorials are really good, they're really helpful, and they're really well detailed, and they're usually able to do it afterwards. So hopefully this one is just as good. So for example, we're going to be using this truck to strafe off of, and we're going to be strafing over to this blue tarp. Obviously you can just go from the roof and get on top of the tarp, but for strafing purposes we're going to use this as an example. I was just trying to find a quick, easy example for me to show how to do a strafe jump, and this works as a good example. So we're going to be doing it from the top of the truck, not the lower part of the truck. And always make sure when you go to a strafe jump that you have a light mobility weapon like this. You don't want to be strafing with like a light machine gun. You're never going to be able to do a strafe. Otherwise, you might as well just do a straightforward run jump with a low mobility gun. You're never going to be able to do an actual strafe jump with it. But I just wanted to make sure that you guys know that you cannot make this jump no matter how much you try or how long you do it for. If you jump at the very edge of the truck and you do a crouch in midair, you're still never going to make that jump, no matter how hard you try, unless you have juice. But then if you have juice, what's the point of watching this video? If you have juice, then you could probably make the jump, but then why would you bother? Because you're trying to learn how to do a strafe jump. Plus later on when you come to jumps where you have to do juice and strafing jumps, and sometimes maybe combine it with a shotgun jump, then you're going to come into a problem. So we're going to be doing this without juice, and first thing you want to do is kind of change your sensitivity. So if you're at least have it around 5, I'm guessing. I'm not like saying that's the like a minimum. Like I'm just guessing, because like the whole point of a strafe is that you're trying to run and make yourself straight with where you're going for. And if you can't like turn quick enough, because you're gonna be running when you do that turning motion. If you can't straighten yourself out quick enough, you're gonna go in the opposite direction. You're not gonna go where you want, and you're not gonna have a good strafe. So those people new to Call of Duty that probably only have their sensitivity around 2 or 3, you're probably gonna want to get used to a higher sensitivity, I'm guessing. But some people even have their sensitivity at 10, like to put it down to 7 when they go to the strafing. I don't know why. I'm just saying there's people out like there's actually people out there that like that. So just saying, if you're one of them, that's might what you want to have to do. But I always keep mine at 10 personally. It's just what I do. So to actually do the strafe, like make sure you have light mobility weapon, like I said, and you find out if you're like a strafer that goes from the left side or you go from like the right side. Like some people, it's kind of like being left-handed or right-handed. It all depends what you are. I like to go from this side personally. It's just me. Just make sure that you have your sensitivity controlled enough so you're not going to do a U-turn. I have seen people do a full-out U-turn strafe. It's really weird. I don't know how people do it, but I personally just like to turn slightly to my side. Sometimes you can even go like on a perfect right angle if you want. Like you can go like straight like that and then turn really quickly. It all depends on what you do. Sometimes people find it easier to do a wider angle. Some people find it to do a lighter angle. The main point is that all of them are appropriate. Sometimes I find it easier to go on a wider angle for harder strafes. I don't know. I just change up my like idea and technique as I go. If I can't make it like a strafe, I try to like switch up a bit and see what I'm better at. So what you're trying to do basically is you're trying to straighten yourself out to being straight with where you're trying to go to. So I'm trying to get that blue tarp. So pretty much like sometimes in some situations though, like being a left-handed strafer or right-handed strafer, sometimes you kind of need to go from one angle, because sometimes you have no choice, because technically right now you want to be near the edge of this truck, so I should be doing it from the other angle, but I like this angle and I'm stubborn, so I'm going to be using this side. So I'm going to be running like that, and then I'm going to run straight for what I want. So the turning motion's all before the jump. You want to make sure you're straight as possible when you go to do a strafe jump. You don't want to be turning when you're in the air. The turning's before you go to do the jump. You don't want to do it before then. But the main thing is that you just want to make yourself straight when you go to lift off of the thing. But also the pole's in the way, so I should be starting from my right side, then turning to my right, but I like to do it from the other side. Some situations though, you don't have a choice, that you actually have to strafe from a certain side. Some things might be in the way and all that, so you might have to get good at both sides of strafe. You might have to be able to do it left and right sometimes. But the main focus is that you're just going to be running. So before you do a strafe jump, always double check where you're going for. You're going for that blue tarp, so make sure you're aligned right, because say like if you're going to go for the jump, like the shortest distance possible if I was doing a straightforward run jump would be from here to like the corner of the blue tarp right near the pole. That'd be like the shortest distance possible. So except if I'm on just like a slight bit of an angle when I go to do the jump, that's going to increase if I'm going on a diagonal, that's going to increase the distance of traveling that I have to do. So what you want to do when you go to do a strafe jump is you want to do the turning motion before you jump, and then you want to make yourself straight as possible. You don't want to move at all in the air, just in a forward motion when you're in the air. You want to make your strafe jump as straight as possible. So much as that makes no sense to some people, because a strafe jump, the whole point of it is doing that turning motion, but the turning motion is before the actual jump occurs. So you're turning and then you're going to move in a straightforward jump. Nothing else. So what we're going to be doing is that we just want to straighten it out and you're going to make the jump. And some people make the problem sometimes, like you want to like always jump as soon as you lift off, like at the edge as far as you can, just get that extra bit of like distance. Always try to get the best out of your strafe possible. So always try to go at the very end of your jump and to get the most distance possible. Some people make the mistake though of jump crouching, because crouching gets you that extra foot of height when you do a strafe jump. But if you're going to crouch doing a strafe, do it in the mid motion, like do it halfway across your jump. Don't do it right off the lift off of the truck. Like don't jump crouch like right off the bat, otherwise you're not going to be able to actually do it right. You might feel like you hit a wall. So as you see, like watch, I turn and then I stop turning in a straight motion, and look how I did it. Notice how I also crouched there, but I crouched later on in my jump. You don't want to crouch right away, otherwise it's going to like kind of feel like you got staggered, you kind of feel like you hit a wall, and it feels like you kind of like slowed down the motion. Like it's just really weird. But if you notice, like if you do a good strafe, you don't even need to crouch at all, and you notice how I made it perfectly. The basic motion is you're starting out on a bit of an angle, you're trying to straighten yourself out before you make the jump, and then you go straight in a forward motion to the target that you're trying to achieve. But I always try to get the most out of my strafe in case I like do like really bad. But here's another example. I know it's pointless, like you can just go jump on the car if I want, but for strafing purposes I'm trying to show you. So I always want to jump at the very edge of the jump as much as possible. In case you do like a sloppy strafe, those little adjustments in your jump will make it better, such as like jumping right at the edge of a truck like or object, or just crouching in midair will give you that extra bit of height. So those small adjustments, if you make a bad strafe, can make it end up actually working out to what you're trying to do. See, like that, I jumped right at the edge of the truck, and I crouched, and I made it on top of this car. And also, eventually, once you start getting into like more harder glitches, that's why I'm making all these tutorials before I start getting into harder glitches, because people need to know, because I can do some crazy stuff that we do. We are not like most other glitching clans, like we try to get everywhere possible. So when you have juice, make sure you have quick draw pro on so you can plant your tack down quickly, so that you get like, because you don't have much time to set up your strafe at all, and if you don't have quick draw pro, it's going to take for most of the time just to plant the tack. So you can combine juice strafes, and also like sometimes you can do shotgun juice strafes, which I'll be getting into that with the actual shotgun tutorial. I'll be uploading it fairly shortly. But this is a great example on how to do strafe jumps outside hard hat. I find it one of the best spots to learn how to do a strafe jump. It's a like perfect one because it's like pretty much parallel with the opposite side. So it's nothing like you have to go on a weird angle or anything. It's straightforward, and it's actually like the same height as both sides. So it makes you really have to learn how to do a strafe jump perfectly. If you can make that without crouching, you're pretty good at strafing at that point. So I'd practice this one if I were you guys. So hopefully this tutorial helped out, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll always try to help you out and try to point out what you're doing wrong. So see you guys later, and have fun glitching.